Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia, and this is the summary for the day of 957 to 958 for the 7th to the 8th of October. And honestly, it's some crazy shit over these past 2 days, and so many things has happened, and yeah, this is going to be one hell of a report. And so buckle up. And so of course this is a new scheduling. I'm trying to play around with the scheduling and see. So now we're gonna have the SITREP first, then frontline changes report later. And so we have frontline. I'm not gonna go through the frontline changes because I people say that no, it is a spoiler. So we're gonna go into the we go by a anti-clockwise direction. We start with Kherson. Over the Kherson front, we have reports of Russians attacking the Pridniprovsky direction over the past 2 days, according to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. Shellings reported Antonivka, Mikhailsk, I think it's Mikhailsky. Yeah, correct, Mikhailsky, and also over at Valentensky as well as Vasily. Vasily is over there on the other side. It's over here. So these are the few shelling reports over at the Kherson front. Nothing particularly special. Geolocation of a Russian airstrike on Kherson was also geolocated, but yeah, nothing particularly outstanding over here. We go into the Zaporizhia front. At the Zaporizhia front, things is getting a bit hairy. Particularly, the Russian forces have been located in the new locations as they continue to attack into Kayamsky in the northern part. This entire area here, this water body you are looking here, is largely very sandy, muddy, sandy kind of material right now. And the Russians have now starting to make this advance into this area here, which is unprecedented. It's really unusual for the Russians to attack in this direction. Thus, it could be a beginning of a totally new offensive in the Zaporizhia front. And the fighting is not just consolidated only in the Kayamsky region. Fighting is reported not just at Kayamsky but at Lokove, Pyatikaki, Novodanilivka, Robotini, and Malatomashka over these two sectors of the Zaporizhia front. This, of course, over 2 days, but the intensity is still there. We definitely have to watch the Kayamsky thing because it will be an indicator of the Russian intention around this area here. We move further away. Over in the Velika Novosilka sector, Russian forces are shelling Zelenopole as well as Novopil. Fighting is reported towards Velika Novosilka, and of course the big news is over at Zolotan Neva. Over at Zolotan Neva, the Russian forces have been geolocated, raising the flag within Zolotan Neva, and according to the Russian sources, they have declared, including the Russian Defense Ministry, has declared the capture of Zolotan Neva, as the Russian forces basically captured everything south of Zolotan Neva as well, definitely consolidating the positions around here as well as somewhere close to Novodonetsky. And with the capture of Zolotan Neva, the Ukrainian forces is not going to be able to hold this position around this north of Novodonetsky. I believe they're going to see a mass withdrawal and a quick Russian capture of this area here in the near future. So this is the one of the big news over in this sector, as the Russian Defense Ministry announced the capture yesterday. And it was first reported by the pro-Russian sources the day before of the capture, based on the geolocation. And over in this Voleda sector, Voleda-Vodiany sector, Russian forces have straightened the front line over in the Voleda region as they've pushed northward, and fighting is reported towards Novo-Ukrainka. Fighting is also moving towards Bohov-Yevlenka, as well as over in the Vodiany region. Fighting is reported over there. However, some correction of the front line. The Russian side has their mapping invalidated due to this geolocation of a Russian attack against this tree line where the Ukrainian forces have some position. So because of this, this entire area has been classified as under Ukrainian control again. So the Russian mapping, there is different, because now we have two pro-Russian sources, DivGen and Ryba. DivGen and Ryba actually have slightly differences in terms of their mapping. They don't refer to each other per se. They both have their independent mapping, and they have slightly different in terms of the way how they map. So I just want to let you know there is some this kind of differences, and it's gonna start to be a bit problematic because both have a different reality, different perspective of what reality is. Over in the Konstantinivka region, Russian forces are attacking Ternivka and Ternivka, as well as in the region of Konstantinivka. And there is geolocation of a FPV drone strike on the south of Zvetivka, but that's about it. There's not much news regarding this area at this moment. We move on. There's some geolocation far away. A Caesar artillery got destroyed at Sukiyali, and at Rosliv there is some shelling report. Not very important. Sosivka is actually there's reported attacks around here or shelling around here. However, this location is actually Krasnoye. So Sonsiska is actually a new name, Ukrainian name. So over in the Kurakove sector, Russian forces are attacking in the region of Hostre, Maximelinivka, Georgievka, as well as towards Kurakove. So that's the current situation around here. Nothing new strategically. There's nothing changed. Over in the Hernik sector, at the Hernik region, the Russian forces are fighting at Sukharine, Novoselidivka, Izmailivka, Hernik. The Russian forces confirmed capture of Zelane Pershi, and fighting is reported south of Zelane Druhi, with the Russian claimed the capture of Zoriane Pervoe, which is actually a small little village on the eastern side of Zoriane. This is actually probably related to Zoriane. And the Ukrainian, this is based on Russian claims. Ukrainian mapping basically only confirmed that the Russians have captured Zelane Pershi, but that's about it. Over in the Novoselidivka region, Russian claims that that the Russians have entered into Novoselidivka itself. So I zoom in a bit. So of course this is the confirmed capture, and this is actually the capture of this region here. This small little street is also known as Zoriane Pervoe. So Russian forces captured a lot of grounds here, which means that the Ukrainians are going to lose this entire salient very soon. At Novoselidivka, Russian forces have entered into the eastern part of Novoselidivka as the Russian push south and are cutting into the connections between Novoselidivka as well as Hernik. And the Russians are also pushing in a different direction towards the northern part of Novoselidivka, which will probably allow them to attack from a different vector of attack. So Novoselidivka is actually in deep trouble, very serious problem right now, and fighting is already reported at Izmailivka. It was only reported yesterday, the 7th, did not have any attacks being reported. So this entire front is collapsing as we speak, if we believe in the Russian mapping. So over in the Selidove region, Russian forces are fighting in the region of Selidove. It's unclear where the fighting is. Actually, right now, it might be the south and the north at the same time. Frontline changes in the north, confirming Russians have expanded their control around the highway, but that's about it. We move further up north to the Novohorodivka region. This is Pokrov, by the way. This is the main objective. The Russian forces have announced the capture of Horodivka, according to the Russian Defense Ministry as well as pro-Russian sources. And fighting is now moving into Lysivka, Sukiya for the first time. Fighting is reported at Sukiya, Krutiya, and Mykolaievka, Promin, as well as towards Minohrad. And there is geolocation of FPV drone hitting an AMX-10 RC tank, which is a surprise. I thought the AMX-10 is all destroyed. No, the French tank I thought it's all gone. So this is like a rare instances that there's still one more around. They got destroyed anyway. So this is the massive one big arrow, as you can see, moving towards the direction of Pokrov, and the Russians are going to be attacking both Minohrad as well as moving towards through Lysivka and reaching towards Pokrov. And this is the current situation right now. Very tense. This is a serious problem right here. Over in the northern sector, there's only fighting reported at Novotoretsk. This is the only reports of fighting around in this sector, and that's about it in this northern flank of the Pokrov front. So we move into the New York front. At the New York front, we have fighting reported at Kalinove, Sukabalka, Nelipivka, Skibinivka, Toretsk, and Didievka. Shelling is reported at Alexandro Kalinove. And the big news is the situation over at Toretsk. All hell have broken loose, and hell is full of shit. So the geolocation of Russian forces have triggered massive frontline changes around here, particularly over in this one at the Zabalka region. So this district of Toretsk, this is called Zabalka, and the Russian forces has been geolocated in two different locations far in the northern area, and this caused DPA's mapping to declare this as a capture, and this invalidates all the Ukrainian claims all the way in the south, confirming the Russians have captured all of these grounds, validating Russian claims. And then the DivGen, which is our new pro-Russian source, have then mapped this entire area here as under Russian control. So this is a Russian claim. This below here, this is Russian capture. And this entire salient, basically, they just close it immediately without no dubs. And then further up north, the Russians also. So let me push further up north. So so other than this, of course, this is the Russian capture, and these Russian claims around here. The Russians, in a separate report by DivGen, the Russian forces also have entered into this industrial zone in the center of Toretsk. And this means that the Russians have really advanced across the entire southern part of Toretsk, and the entire south has collapsed. And this going to speed up, I feel. We shall see how the Ukrainians going to deal with this. There's a high chance that the Ukrainians has lost the will to fight. By the look of it, this is quite scary. This amount of grounds is ridiculous. So and of course, this geolocation is a long time coming. No, it's a matter of time that eventually we're going to reach here, due to the non-stop reporting of fighting around this area here. And furthermore, not just in the center of Toretsk where you have the frontline change, geolocation also shows Russian forces expanding on the eastern part of Toretsk as well. And so the entire Toretsk situation is in deep shit and a very bad state right now. So of course this is a claim, so we cannot fully confirm this and this two frontline change cannot be confirmed because this is not geolocation, but we can confirm that this area here is now under Russian control. So, and this one as well. So that's the front line. This is the situation over at Toretsk. We move into the Bakhmut front. So at the southern part of the Bakhmut front, we have fighting reported at Stuposhki, Preteshne, as well as Bilahora. So usual things over here. In the northern eastern flank, sorry, central flank. Yeah, central flank, northern flank is the same. Yeah, there is fighting reported at Kalinina as well as Chesifia. There is there is a Ryba announcement of the capture of Krakorevka. I think this is wrong. Let me see. I think this is wrong. I just deleted it. No, there's not an announcement. So yeah, so that is that's not it. It's the Russian Defense Ministry's announcement. I mapped it wrong. So that's it. Humi, one of these viewer called Humi also emailed me about regarding this. I didn't catch it. Where was it? So yeah, so apparently it's here. So yeah, so that's it from this area of Bakhmut front. There is shelling reported at Lyubivka, very far away, not very important. Another shelling reported at Nikiforivka, also not important. All these are, I just map it in just in case, but not important because we want to focus on the front lines. Shelling in the rear is just intangible. It's very hard to count to really have a sense of what the hell is happening. So in the Sivas front, massive changes around these areas here. So generally speaking, there is fighting reported at Serbianka, Volkanovka, Sperne, Ivanodarivka, and Sivas. So this is the general picture. But then we go into details, a lot of things is happening. So over the Vinka, geolocation of Ukrainian forces along the railway line have caused massive invalidation and disclaim by the Russian mapping. So so based on DivGen has entirely disclaimed the entire Vimka region, because this shows that the Russians did not actually capture Vimka despite the Russian Defense Ministry announcement of the report. And this is also one of my criticism of DivGen for running ahead to map what the Russian Defense Ministry announced. So this is also one of my reservations to using their mapping. And so, of course, this basically, caused a massive, frontline correction. Of course, there is always a possibility that the Russians have entered Vimka and retreated. That is also a possibility because Vimka is definitely not a very, yeah, I can't see the hotel or the hostel anywhere. So, it's not exactly a good place for now. And there is also massive change. So Verkhovno-Kayamsky, we can now confirm that the Russian forces have captured Verkhovno-Kayamsky because of the geolocation on the western part of Verkhovno-Kayamsky. This confirms Russian claims and that they have captured the entire of Verkhovno-Kayamsky. And however, geolocation in the north of Verkhovno-Kayamsky also do cause the frontline to change in this way, invalidating Russian claims. So this penetration is really deep, and I'm not sure how steady is this. So we shall see whether the Ukrainians can cut them off in a pincer, or the Russians will just keep penetrating deeper and deeper and deeper until they hit something. So over in the north, this is one of the latest information, and it comes as a really shock to me. Russian forces geolocated in Krychorivka. And this is actually weird because we have no announcement of the capture of Bilohorivka. This claim of capture is in May. This is a very long time ago, which is like highly dubious. And suddenly the Russians have appeared in Krychorivka. I have no freaking idea where they came from. Based on Russian mapping, DivGen mapped that the Russian forces attacked from the north of Bilohorivka, and they draw a big phallic shape around here, very, very kinky, and this is how they claim the Russian lines are. And then, of course, this could also, of course, lead to the fighting at Serbianka, which makes perfect sense. So, if this is true, this footage, I've looked at it, there's basically two soldiers raising a flag within a destroyed house. Looks like they are worried about sniper fire, so because they are hiding behind the walls. But the drone is looking at the general pictures around the general situation around here. It looks really sparse, no light, no sign of life, just trees, a lot of trees. And so the capture, of course, to claim that the Russians capture this way is a bit of a not so convincing for me. My confirmed captures is only this square, this small little polygon. Everything else, these are all Russian claims. I'm not going to validate the Russian mapping just because of this one geolocation, because that is not objective enough to really believe that the Russians have full control of the entire thing of Krychorivka. Over the Crimea front, fighting is reported within the Serbiansky forestry at Dibrova, Torske, as well as Novosadove. So nothing special about this. So the special thing, of course, is the situation around this sector within Serbiansky forestry. Where the line is right now, nobody knows. It's very weird right now because Russian forces over here. Is the Ukrainians still here? There is a question mark. And how do the Russians attack Serbianka, or this just a shelling report? Also no idea. So there is a lot of mystery around here right now. So let's wait for the fog of war to lift. And while that happens, we have to report the Svatove front. So at the Svatove front, can I squeeze in everything? No, I don't think so. So in the southern side, we have fighting reported at Druzilubivka, Novovodian, Krakivka, Mekievka, and Nevsky. So this is the main attack vectors around here. So it looks pretty random at this moment. It's across the board. So let's see what is next. Further up north, in the northern half of the Svatove front, fighting is reported at Kopanki, Vishneve, and Lozova. And there is massive update at Stemakivka with the capture of Stemakivka, confirmed by Ukrainian mapping. So All the lines here is now confirmed to be under Russian control. This is mapped by the Ukrainians, and the Russians have fully captured Stemakivka, allowing the Russians to close this chapter and go to move on to the next chapter. So, and there is otherwise the geolocation of Russian airstrike at Petrov which is here, which is a surprise to me. I didn't know there was another Petrov here. So when they talk about Petrov I thought it's this one. So yeah, that is awkward. So anyway, we shall see how this go. Yeah, and then we move to the Pischane front. At the Pischane front, so a lot of crazy shit has happened around here as well. So let's focus like this. No, cannot. Have to zoom out. Okay, we'll include this northern area as well. Russian forces are fighting in the entire front line at the Pischane front. Fighting is reported at Berestove, south south of Pischane, Kurilyakivka, Kolesnikivka, Khrushchevka, Novoosinovi, north of Pischane, Tebaivka, Kaislivka, and Stepova, Novoselivka. Basically everywhere. This entire area, the Russians are pushing everywhere. It's crazy. Shelling reported at Osinovo, not important. And so there is frontline changes that shows that the Russian forces have expanded control at Kuliakivka, and they are now at the doorstep of Khrushchevka, which is scary now because the Russians can now attack in 3 different settlements all at once if they choose to. And in the north, in the Tabaivka region, the Russians have claimed that they have expanded the control around Tabaivka. This is a Russian claim. And this is, of course, this is the capture. This is confirmed already. This geolocation is confirmed. So Russian forces are expanding around this Tabaivka region. Not yet confirmed this area. However, the Russian mapping does disclaim. I wouldn't say... I'm not sure what to think. Basically, this was claimed by DivGem's mapping. But Raiba say that there is, however, no lack of indication that there is physical control over Stepova Novoselivka, and I decided to hit Raiba's mapping and invalidate this entire area. So the entire claim right here is all gone. It's now all under Ukrainian control, because I personally also think that is under is also under Ukrainian control. Stepova Novoselivka. When I first mapped this, I did mention this looks ridiculous. It's a huge amount of capture, and I feel like Raiba raising doubts about this mapping. I also concur that this doesn't make a lot of sense. So anyway, so this part of the DivGem mapping is now invalidated. However, I kept another part which is in the south of Pischane. So this area here, this area here is also a Russian claim, and this is also by DivGen. And the Raiba's mapping is nothing like this. It's similar, it's closer to the Ukrainian mapping. So, but this one I kept at this moment. But we shall see how this continue to unfold. Whether I need to invalidate. So no, just one report ago, I just mentioned that DivGen's mapping seems to be reliable, and I put them into primary source, and immediately there is information getting invalidated the day after. So yeah, but that's what it is. Though intelligence is dirty sometimes. That's how it goes. Over the Kupiansk front, fighting is reported at Sinkivka, Petropavlivka, Kucherivka, and shelling is reported at Kupiansk. But that's about it. Nothing new per se. And over at Petropavlivka, Russian airstrike is being reported, geolocated, but that's about it. So that's all from the Kupiansk front. We move into the Kharkiv front. At the Kharkiv front, we have some shelling report which I don't feel like talking about. This one is Kripuni, which sounds like an Indian word, and then Zolokiv. And then over in the Kharkiv front, we have fighting reported at Voschansk, Staritsia, Lipsy, and Mariupol. And most significant is, of course, the situation at Voschansk. The Russian forces have retaken the aggregate plant. Really is ridiculous. The Ukrainians have only just managed to recapture it to great fanfare. A lot of pro-Ukrainian guys are celebrating this. And now, then after the Ukrainians captured it, the Russians dropped a few massive bombs on it. They fed them with a lot of bombs, and then yeah, then the Russians are back. So one hell of a waste of people to capture this, only to lose it later. So yeah, but that's the nature of war. This is what it is. The Russians have retaken the Voschansk aggregate plant, and situation went back to normal, as in the stalemate. So let's see how these continue to develop, and we move further on. Over at the into Sumy region, there is fighting reported at Velika Pasarivka. This is reported by the Russian Defense Ministry on the 7th, but there is not reported on the 8th, so most likely nothing very important happened. We move into the Kursk front. At the Kursk front, Russian forces are still conducting their counteroffensive. Fighting is reported at Blakovo. Ukrainians clashes with them. Russian forces are continuing their attack over in the western flank at Lyubimovka, Darino, Nikolaevo Darino. Ukrainians, however, are launching their own attacks over at Ruskaya Porosnoye, Chekhoskoye Porosnoye, Martinovka, Ogovka, Lyubimovka, this is Bukovka. So too many kaka around here. And the Ukrainians are attacking Veseloye, the Russians are attacking Novi Put. So this is the strategic situation around this sector. The Ukrainians surprisingly is launching massive offensive across the Kursk front. Like they attack this in the northern flank at Agovka, and then they attack the two Porosnoye regions, then in the Martinovka as well, which is kind of a surprise to me because this includes the main fight over in the western flank. So the Ukrainians are really pushing in multiple directions, and are they really going to double down when the entire western flank is all falling like no cuts? Like the Ukrainians are still trying to expand into the Kursk region, despite that they are losing their own country at this rate. Yeah, I think the priorities is really weird. I don't really understand the priorities. Some geolocation of Ukrainian forces getting hit by airstrike at Martinovka was geolocated, not exactly important, and there is some frontline changes over in this Lyubimovka, Bukovka region. As mentioned previously, Russian forces have entered into the center of Lyubimovka. Ukrainians have retaken part of Bukovka, but yeah, that's about it. And yeah, and that's it. So this is the entire situation report, or the summary for the day of 957 to 958 for the 7th to the 8th of October. Pretty long report. Yeah, I'll try, because we now swap the timing around. So now I'll do up the SITREP first and then do the frontline changes later. Let's see how this goes. See whether it improves the viewership and revenue, and also to see whether whether I can handle the workflow in this way. And so thank you for watching. Do help to share. YouTube is not very kind to DPA these 3 weeks, so help to share and help to let the video reach more people. And thank you for watching. Press the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next update.